I have to tell you, I've rarely talk about the times that we do these interviews, but I found David Landreth. It's 8:30 my time. I'm in my pajama bottoms. I don't care because I've got him on screen and we're talking to him. Hello, David.
Hi, Terry. It's good to see you again.
Um, where are you? What part of the house are you in now?
I'm in we have
Your
the
master
record.
bedroom.
No, we're in the record label office. We are on the third floor of the um, Burton Cummings Theater. We have a little office right behind the men's washroom. And if you didn't know we were here, you'd think that we are working in a storage closet. But it's actually a beautiful little office with windows looking over downtown, and you can smell the urinal pucks from 10 feet away. And it's our little sanctuary.
Very nice, nice. It's good to get out of the house. Um, and you're in the bite. Oh, that's fantastic. Um, so I know that there's not a lot going on, and you're between tours and albums and things, and it might be a little quiet. But I just thought I'd check in and see what's been going on lately.
Yeah, I mean, so last year we put out this new record, Come Morning, which we spoke at length about. We had one of my favorite interviews about that record was with you, and so we covered that extensively. But that was a really exciting year for us. It was the first bit post-pandemic of playing again, and it was the first bit of playing for Joey and I after our kids were born. So there was a lot of that year was a lot um, of firsts. Even though we were doing things that we've been doing for the majority of our adult lives, a lot of it felt brand new, good and bad. Just intense. Back on the road, back on stage, missing our families at home in a new way. Um, so we got through that. And it was quite delightful. And then we're sort of sitting on our hands here for the winter, which I think is probably going to be something that we're going to aim to do the sort of now that our families are growing and stuff. Like I really like the cadence of working in this big chunk of the year, touring and putting out records and doing all that band stuff, and then coming home and kind of hibernating a little bit. And so I think it's something we're going to look to recreate. But we're just kind of coming out of hibernation right now. We're getting ready to do some more playing. We're going to
Oh,
Quebec at the end of the
you're going to Australia for Pete's sake.
yeah, for the weekend. We're going to Australia for the weekend, which hurts my brain. I think is going to take a few years off the end of my life, but
The Byron Bay Blues Festival. Have you seen the full
yeah,
lineup? Have you looked at the full lineup?
it's stunning. Well, okay, and get this. So in 2016, we got an invite to come down to the festival, and they wanted us really, really badly. But I had a wedding. My One of my best friends had asked me to be the best man at his wedding, and I could not for the life of me um, live with the idea of standing him up at his wedding. So I just said I can't do it. And Byron Bay said, "Well, what about your dad?" So they subbed in my old man for me, and the band went with my dad
Yeah.
to play bass. So they
Go
went to the
Wally, go
festival.
Wally, go.
Go Wally, go! Which was a highlight for him, as you can imagine, like going out with Joey and the band and getting to see. He's never traveled like that before, never been overseas. So they went, and then they came back, and then for the next 4 or 5 years, all I heard was this festival is just the greatest festival you'd never imagine it. It's so incredible. It's
I,
run so well. The music, the art, blah blah blah. So I'm very excited to go back.
okay. I just want to tell the audience if you haven't looked it up, the Byron Bay Blues Festival starts April 6th, I think it is. The Doobies, Elvis Costello, Jackson Brown, uh, Joe Bonamassa, Beck, Jason Isbell, the 400 unit, Buddy Guy, Steve Earle, Larkin Poe, Lucinda Williams, Trombone Shorty, Mavis Staples, Allison Russell, Keb Mo, St. Paul and the Broken Bones, the Brothers Landreth, and Bonnie Raitt.
Great segue. You're a
Nice.
pro. That was slick.
Well, I think, and you and Bonnie, you guys and Bonnie will be in the same place at the same time. That will be a fantastic moment when you finally get to
Yeah,
hug each other.
I'm really looking forward to it. I sure hope that we can. We will find a moment to connect. Um,
You better.
I'm sure. Yeah. Yeah.
No kidding. There will be some tears. It'll be good stuff. You told I went back and listened to the story you guys told me in a previous interview about how the connection with Bonnie came to be at the Winnipeg Folk Festival, and
Yeah.
how I think you might have said, she wanted songs, and we tried to give her songs, and that we didn't feel they were up to snuff, and they just wouldn't work. And I think you said it took 7 years to finally come to fruition. Did it take that long?
It did. And now that we've kind of come to this point in the story, I have a little bit more clarity on it because we've had a couple of conversations back and forth over email. We've corresponded a bit. And to hear her say it, she heard us play Made Up Mind on stage at the Winnipeg Folk Festival. And apparently, she knew in that moment that she wanted to cover that song at some point. She heard it and thought, I want to cut that song. I don't know when, I don't know what record, but I want that track. So I mean, take that for what it's worth. I mean, it's coming straight from Bonnie herself. And it did, like, we stayed in touch over the course of like 7 or 8 years, and maybe sent a handful, because you have your one of your greatest heroes' email addresses. You don't want to pester them. So we shared some stuff over the years. I know a really nice moment for Joey was sharing the Lowell record that he did, the All That You Dream tribute to Lowell George from Little Feat.
Sure.
Which was a project that was so important to Joe, and he was so proud of. And he sent it to Bonnie, just because he, one of the things that we chatted about when we met her at Folk Fest, and one thing that I'll remember for the rest of my life, was hearing her talk about her friend Lowell.
Cool.
We're sitting here talking to one of our biggest heroes, or one of our idols, and she's being so candid about missing her friend Lowell. And we kind of just talked about like what his, music, how much we loved his music, how much it was important to us. She spoke about it as well, but obviously it's a very different thing. This was her friend. This was her, a person that she really loved and cared about. So that was a cool moment. Joey puts out this record. He sends it to Bonnie, and she sent a really beautiful and heartfelt response to that, which meant everything to Joe, because of how dear this project was to him, and to know that it resonated with her.
Yeah.
And that, because it's an ambitious thing. It's not just about like, you can step on stage and play top 40 tunes. You can cover a song, but when you do an ode to somebody that has been so instrumental in shaping who you are as an artist, you want to do it right. And to get the nod from Bonnie that Joey did it justice, I think was really, really impactful for him. So just these threads that weave through these relationships, and they're strange, and I've never seen her since. We haven't crossed paths. I haven't seen her on the road. We haven't been in the same place at the same time. Few emails and a song tie us together. It's just bananas.
Yeah, we'll get to the song. I'll show you my Lowell George moment.
Oh, please.
I think it's right here. Hold on.
Oh, for those of you at home, I can actually see Terry's buffalo plaid pajama bottoms. I thought you were just being silly, but no, the man is actually in his PJs.
All I had to do was just get dressed on top. The bottom takes care of itself. So this is my Lowell George moment. This is when I discovered Lowell George. Let me see if I can get that up there.
Oh my God.
That's me doing yet another interview with Zappa.
Frank Zappa.
I think in the Canucks dressing room.
And so Lowell would have been in the band?
In the band.
Oh my God. Was that As the Mothers?
Yep.
Yeah, wild.
Yeah, early on.
Oh. I mean, Zappa, there's a guy like, he's got to be responsible for launching more careers than NASA.
Flo and Eddie. The whole thing. He came out one year with a no bass player, but 3 tubas. It was the bassist. The tubas carried the bass line. It was fantastic. Anyway,
of course.
I digress.
Yeah, that's a whole other.
Okay, so
I will say this though, like of all the artists that we lost young, I do often find myself wondering what the music landscape would look like if we had had another 20 or 30 years of Zappa.
Well,
Yeah.
he would have been during, for example, during the Trump years, he would have been all over it. Totally.
Yeah.
Complete. There'd be a concept album because of it. And he was that kind of guy. He reflected the sociology around him. He was brilliant. I was talking to Meg last night. She said, what'd you like about it? He said, it's just because he could talk about mathematics or space or whatever. And he was the only one in the room being the Pacific Coliseum, 10, 15,000 people, the only one who was straight. Everybody else was stoned out of their mind. And he was the straightest guy in the room. He didn't want to play. He didn't want guys on stage with him that were stoned. That's it.
Yeah.
Because he was asking a lot of them, and he was a conductor. Anyway,
truly,
and a brilliant sense of humor if you found the right place to push buttons to push. Okay, David Landreth. Where's your brother? Is he just on the other side of the?
He's in this can. I've distilled his essence and I'm sipping it gently through the interview. So no, Joey's actually he started producing records, very sort of selectively, and he's in the midst of wrapping one project and doing a bunch of recording with a couple of Danish kids from Copenhagen.
Okay.
Who young guys, Ollie and Joachim. They came over to make a record with Joey, and he's deep entrenched in that. So he hasn't been able to pull himself out of that because the guy's got to go home back to Denmark. So they got a bit of a tight deadline.
And you guys,
so he apologized.
You guys are rock gods in Denmark. Come on.
Kind of. No,
yeah.
Hilariously, when we got to Denmark in Europe in September, we'd never played Copenhagen. We showed up to Copenhagen. There's 500 people screaming. It was the last show of the tour. It was the best attended show outside of London. London's a really good spot for us, but outside of London, it was the biggest show of that tour, and we'd never been to Copenhagen. We did not know what to expect, and it just blew our mind. So we kind of actually are kind of rock stars in Denmark.
There you go. Probably sold a lot of toques. So here's the thing. We're not getting to the, I started this conversation with a jest saying, well, what's going on? Nothing's happening. But in fact, you're sitting on the best news story of your recent life, if not your whole life. Quite possibly. Other than the birth of children and my marriage and all that stuff, falling in love. So I'm going to show the home video, if it's okay with you, of you
please do
watching the Grammys. And well, let me show it because it's ridiculously fun, especially the context. You on a little mobile screen, your son's taking over the television. He's wrapped up in a blanket. Here it is. I'll just drop this in here.
Thank you so much. I never expect this, and I'm just so proud to be representing how long I've been doing this. For all of us who've been lasting this long, thank God for the Americana format when we straddle all these genres and finally have a home. Oh, I want to thank the Brothers Landreth for writing this kick-ass song and my incredible band.
That's so cool.
And Ryan Freeland.
What?
I'm just out of breath because I'm so verklempt. What
That's
can I
so
say?
cool. That's so cool.
I really am so proud to be able to celebrate soul music and blues together. And when you find a good song and you got a great band, man, there's nothing stopping you. So I want to thank Kathy Kane and Annie, Vanessa in my office, this Red Wing team, my record company.
Oh, I can't believe it.
I want to thank Surefire and Beautiful Digital and CAA, Brett and Brian. Thank you guys so much for being so supportive for our long couple of years tour we're doing. It's so great to be back playing live music. Thank you for this great honor. Thank you.
Oh, that's so cool. Woohoo! Happy dance, happy dance. Woo!
So you was what was going on the night?
Okay,
you knew it was the Grammys, of course.
We knew it was the Grammys, and I think we were all excited that this could happen, but you don't count your chickens and so on. So we were just like, we're just gonna be casual. We always do a Sunday dinner with when we're in town. We do with my mom and dad, um, who are divorced, but they come together on the weekends, and we all either host at my place or Joey's place, sometimes my mom's, and we do a big dinner. Everybody comes. So we're like, we'll do this dinner. These Danish kids are in town. We're gonna have everybody over. We're gonna have a nice sit down, and we'll just put them on in the background, and we'll see what happens. But my son got a stomach bug and started projectile vomiting everywhere. So we had to pull the cord, and we wound up going back to our place. So we were sitting on the couch, getting covered in puke, and like moments before our category, well, Bonnie's category is announced, I was being puked on, and then moments after I became a Grammy winning songwriter, I was again being puked on. And I think there's like probably some sort of like funny tie-in between like a red carpet and then like trying to keep puke off the carpet, but there's something in there. But yeah, so that's the context for it. And I think like it's a fun one because it's like it's not really our award. Like we just got this whole thing. We got a song plucked out of our catalog, seemingly from the ether, by one of the most important artists in our record collection. And she just like I'm gonna grab the song and I am just gonna take you guys on this insane journey, and I'm gonna drag you through it. You're just along for the ride. Congratulations. And that's what it's felt like. And it's just like the news has just been good and better all the whole way. She's cutting the song. The song's doing really well. It's a #1 at radio. It's nominated for Grammy, and then it wins a Grammy. It's just too surreal.
It's the lead-off single to her best album in years. Well, not best, but best reacted to album in years.
Yeah.
She believes in the song. It's not just a knockoff. She lives the words.
And there's just no like, a little glimpse into the mind of the artist, I suppose. But like every artist I know, we all suffer from some degree of self-doubt and cynicism, and there is just no reason for Bonnie to do this other than she really connected with the song.
And
there's
I don't want to shortchange the song, but was it The Runt of the Litter? Because I mean, it showed up on Let It Lie on the deluxe. Was it not moving forward on Let It Lie?
No. Okay, so the story behind that is we put out the record originally with 9 songs in the fall of 2013.
Yeah,
and
because everybody does 9 songs.
9 songs. I mean, 9 songs is the new 12 songs, isn't it? Or at least it was in 2013. But we put it out because that's all the songs we had. And we basically released it to friends and family without a record label. We just put it out through CD Baby. We didn't know what we were doing. We just made a record and quote unquote released it. But then we wound up going down to Nashville and getting a record deal.
Yeah.
And that same week that we were down in Nashville, we were also introduced to a writer named Jonathan Singleton. And he sat down with Joey and I and did one of the first what would be a series of co-writes over the years.
One day you did this song.
Yeah. Oh no, it was like hours. We sat.
Huh? Yeah, but I mean, you didn't just record it in one day. You wrote it and recorded it in one day.
Oh no, I'm sorry. We wrote it in one day, and then sort of just filed it away into a new song.
Yeah.
And then we came back to. Excuse me. Sorry. We wrote it, and then we went down to Nashville. We got a record deal, and the record label said, "Okay, we want to put it on this record, but we feel like it's missing 2 songs. You need a couple more tunes for this record." So we went back into the studio and we cut one of my dad's songs, "I Am the Fool," which he was overjoyed by, and we obviously, it was really special for us to be able to cut one of our favorite songs that our dad wrote. And then we did Made Up Mind. So there were late minute additions because the label wanted something fresh. And both of those songs wound up being the singles from that US release, and it did moderately well for us. and of course, then Bonnie picked it up, and now
Okay.
now you hear it the way it's supposed to be done.
So, so where is the graph now? If you were at moderate then, how hot are you now on that needle? Like think of VU meter. Where are you?
Oh, we are redlining, peaking. We've snapped the needle off. You're sending your unit in for repair. I'm sorry, do not resuscitate. This thing's junked. You might as well just change professions. Yeah, no, we peaked early. We're done. That's it. That's it. It's all downhill.
Wow.
Yeah, it's one of these things. Like Joey and I have been so fortunate that, and I think it's from where we come from. Like, we live in Winnipeg. We've grown up in this really blue collar city. It, and we were raised as working musicians first, and our father was a working musician. All the cats that we grew up were these work-a-day jobbing creative people, but it was work. And so we never really permitted ourselves to have lofty expectations of what a music career could look like. We just did it because it meant a lot to us, and it always has. It's never been about achieving fame or success or notoriety or acclaim. It was just, we love to play music, and it'd be really nice if this could be a day job. And so when things like this happen, they so far surpass whatever. Like, my imagination is not grand enough to dream up something like this, to have like, and I can't impress it enough. Like, Bonnie Raitt was an indelible part of the soundtrack to our childhood.
Well, if I can, that's why I was counting titles. When you guys formed in 2010, which is, I believe the notes on the page, she had already had 12 albums.
Right.
So you were you heard a lot of that music. Nick of Time, of course, came along and just blew everyone away. So this,
and I think Nick of Time was 89. Yeah. And so, like, there's a whole pile of records that we grew to know really, really well. Nick of Time was obviously a favorite. I was born 85, so it was 87. So those records were out and playing, but they were, like, from a very young age, they were being played on our stereo at home a lot. And Nick of Time, Silver Lining, Fundamental was another one. These ones came later, but they were just sort of standout favorites. I really love the records that oh geez, what's his name? I'm drawing a blank. The producer from Fundamental was,
I can't help you on that one.
yeah, sorry, I'll have to Google it later. But anyways, just the handful of records that they made, and the Dawn Was stuff that obviously propelled her to stardom.
Sure.
Anyhow, I mean, like these records were really important to us, and the way that we internalize that music runs deep. It's so far beyond, like, emulation or nods. It's just like, it's a part of our musical bone marrow. Her and Lowell George, John Hyatt, Lyle Lovett, Joni Mitchell, Ry Cooder, these are the artists that, like, you couldn't remove that from us if you tried. It's impossible. It's like, it is so deeply printed on who we are as artists, because those are the sounds that we grew up.
It's the first of two award shows, of course, that you're going to be heading into. I mean, you're coming out of the Grammys, you're heading for the Junos in Bonnie, Edmonton. Best Contemporary Roots. When's the last time you looked at that list? And how many are friends? Fortunate Ones?
Fortunate Ones?
Yeah.
East Pointers. I mean,
Sakura and Blackie and the Rodeo Kings. Mark.
Blackie. Yeah. I mean, I know Blackie and the Rodeo Kings really well. I couldn't believe, like, we were in the same category in 2015, and we wound up nabbing the award, and it felt sacrilegious because to me, the Blackie and the Rodeo Kings are kind of like the Traveling Wilburys.
Traveling Wilburys.
Yeah, and to me, the Blackie and the Rodeo Kings have always been the Canadian Traveling Wilburys, and, like, a bunch of my favorite writers. And like, did I ever tell you a story about me being mistaken for Tom Wilson?
No, not even today. Wow, what?
So 2015, the Junos, the night of the awards, we went out for Thai food, and I go into this restaurant in Hamilton, and this little kid, and at the time I had long hair and it wasn't as gray as it is now. And I had, past my shoulders or whatever, and very scruffy looking fellow. And we walk into this Thai restaurant. This little kid, like 3 years old, runs up to me and goes, "Grandpa, Grandpa!" Gives my legs a big hug, and I look at him like, nope. And the lady comes over and gives a howl and says, "No, you look just like his grandpa, Tom." And we chat for a little bit, and then I patch it together. It's Tom Wilson, of course, being a Hamilton native, right? And so anyways, that happened.
I love that. You could have played that one. I want to ask you just a couple of quick things, and then I'll let you go. Birthday cake. You started it's a project. It's a label. It's a home for.
It's an idea, man.
It's like a birthday cake.
Yeah.
How goes it? I mean, I see Begonia is coming along, and we're going to be talking all about her and her music.
Amazing.
How large can you control how large it gets or how involved you are?
Like I'm pretty linked to it. Like, so Joey, Stu, and I started this in 2018, and it was meant to just be a bit of a side hustle. Stu and I saw an opportunity to help people out with publishing administration. Is something that I know a little bit about, really geeky music biz stuff, rights management. But when the pandemic hit, and then we kind of accidentally started a record label. When the Bros put out our second record, 87, we didn't like the deals that we were being offered, and we thought, we could probably do this better ourselves. And so we tried, and arguably didn't, because we didn't know what we were doing. But in the process, we accidentally started a record label, and then we accidentally started releasing a bunch of music from our friends. And then all of a sudden we just were a record label. But then we were also an artist management company and a publishing company. And then things started to get very deliberate when the pandemic hit, and there was no more touring to be done. So Stu and I kind of put our heads together and started building this company. And currently we're like 11 full-time staff, and we've got just a mountain of incredible artists that we work with that are doing really, really well. There's a new record from Begonia that's just stunning record. And Leith Ross is an artist that we manage that's having a ton of success. Field Guide's another cat from Winnipeg here that's doing really, really well. So just lots and lots of cool shit coming up.
Okay.
And most of it based here out of the prairies, so sort of Western Canada.
Okay. Well, that's what I'm going to talk to you after we finish. So you're not going to be touring a lot. Will you do festivals this summer?
TBD. Yes, but I'm not.
Yes, I know one of them. I know one of them, but other than that, you could do a series, couldn't you?
Yeah, we're gonna do some. I just can't say which ones yet because they haven't announced. But yeah, we will be doing some summer touring, and we are going to be touring this year. We just things are a little slow in firming up and getting on the calendar, but we'll be out starting, just basically kicking off with Australia. Okay.
And just back to the Junos for a second. Enjoy yourself up there. We hope to find you on the Juno couch.
I'll chase you down.
I'm sure Jim Cuddy will have a couple of questions for you. And maybe we can put you and Blackie on the same couch.
Oh, yeah. Don't tempt me with a good time.
We need some tension there. We need some whatever.
I don't know.
And finally, how's Come Morning doing? How's the album doing?
I think it's out there, and we got a lot of press for this album, more than we've ever had, and people responded really well to that. Got some really cool reviews and really thoughtful insight. I think people are appreciating it for what it is, which is another kind of slow burn of a record. There's a lot to sort of investigate there, and I'm enjoying the fact that people seem to be doing just that.
Well, there's other stuff going on that's drawing their attention to it as well. This is really good. As I said, this is your best Christmas present ever.
Yeah,
ever.
So you say that again.
Well, something keeps coming back to me. The next interview I do today is with Booker T. Jones of Booker T. and the MGs and Stax Bowl.
Yeah.
What one question would you want to ask him?
Oh man, I couldn't. I don't do that to me.
One moment, you said, "Wow." So I mean, it could be Green Onions. It could be the staff. It could be working with.
You know what? I would want to know, like, what what is like the definitive moment for Booker T?
Okay.
You know, like what is the moment that he comes back to as like whatever it is? Is it a favorite memory? Is it a hardest moment? Is it like what is the thing that he singular moment that he comes back to as like a standout in his career?
I ran out of ink writing down notes. I mean, there's all the stuff at Saxophone. There's what's going on in Memphis in the world, black and making music in the South, Monterey, Otis, Bob Dylan's 30th anniversary at Madison Square Garden being the backup band for Pete's sake, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. There's so many things. I'm going to run out of time before he stops talking. Anyway, he's coming to Calgary, and he's bringing a Stax review with him.
Oh, that's going to be a good show. Where are they playing?
They're playing at the Jack Singer, Calgary.
Oh.
Hello. All right, so that's it in a nutshell. Congratulations on everything that's happened to you. It's not done yet. You have the Junos ahead of you and Byron Bay, but I love the fact that we were able to follow the story from conception of the band and then your careers and various and coming together and doing this, deciding to do the Brothers Landreth. And by the way, maybe now is the time that you change your name to the Landreth Brothers. This might be the moment.
Never.
Talk to your
Too
man.
late. Too late. Old dog, new trick. Forget it.
Okay, ebb and flow.
Yeah.
All right. Any message to your fans?
Oh, any message to
Hang
the
in.
fans. Oh man, no, just gratitude. Thank you for being here. Thank you for continuing to be patient with us as we very slowly release music the way that we do and follow us along this journey and give us all this creative freedom to be whoever we need to be. It's a gift.
Okay.
Gratitude.
I said this on the air the other day. Thank you. I'd like to see Mario Buckley and the Brothers Landreth get together a couple more times if they can, because I keep playing that EP.
That's a good that track that we cut was so good.
That track was fantastic.
Yeah, I was so happy with that. I wish there's a lot of times when you put out a piece of music and it just doesn't get the attention that it deserves, and there's not always a whole lot you can do about that. Sometimes that's just the fate of them. But like that one, it was really good. It was like that song that we wrote. I was so happy with the way it turned out, and not a lot of people heard it.
When I Call Your Name.
When I Call Your Name, but also the song that we wrote together, like
Sure.
mostly Marielle. Good, I think it's called Goodbye. It's really nice. It's a really nice track.
She's doing well too. All right, thank you for this time. I appreciate it very much. You know that.
Oh man, anytime, Terry. It's always fun chatting with you.
And I love the home movies. Love the home movies, especially that you're watching on your phone up against a jar of some kind. Like that.
It's so humbling. Having children is just the most grounding thing ever. It's
and
really
your
wonderful.
victory dance was brilliant.
I didn't know I was that spry. Not until that moment.
Thank God you were dressed. I thought. Say hello to Joey.
Yeah, we'll do, Terry. Take care, man.